Welcome to a Legendarium special about William II de Sol, the Demon Wizard of Hermitage Castle. In this episode, we will learn about a man who might have been an evil magician, a ruthless warlord, or perhaps simply a political dissident who annoyed the wrong king. The story of William II de Sol begins with his grandfather Nicholas, a Scottish border lord who built Hermitage Castle in 1240 AD. Their French-speaking Norman family likely migrated to Scotland during the 1100s when King David I brought in Norman knights to protect his kingdom. Lord Nicholas II built Hermitage Castle to protect the strategic valley of Liddesdale from Norman-ruled England. Hermitage being a corruption of the French word for guardhouse. The Hermitage became known as the Strength of Liddesdale, located in a remote and forbidding area of the border region. It is sometimes called the guardhouse of the bloodiest valley in Britain due to its location among many battlefields. Hermitage Castle would later pass to Nicholas's probable grandson, William II de Sol, during the First War of Scottish Independence. William II was a cousin of Alexander Comyn, the Earl of Buchan, and the nephew of John de Sol, the Guardian of Scotland. Other than his pedigree, little is known about the early life of William II, save that he was born around the year 1280. Yet that pedigree gave him a claim to the throne of Scotland, which likely worried Robert the Bruce, the man who seized the throne in 1307. After taking control of the Hermitage, William II began to renovate his family seat, fortifying and arming it until only the greatest of armies could hope to take it. During construction, he tortured his men and his workers, while himself drinking heavily and debauching young girls and sometimes boys. In some cases, men vanished without a trace. This sparked rumors that William II used the dark arts to help him build the castle. People began to wonder if the men who simply vanished during the night died miserable deaths in lonely places, or if William II sacrificed them to Satan and his minions. People even began whispering that William II slowly sank the castle into the earth to hide his sins from God. Rumors began spreading that William II kidnapped children and young maidens for blood sacrifices. Some of the more fantastic tales claimed that William II owned a magical iron chest which he kept hidden within an underground chamber. Whenever he banged upon it, he could summon demons and even Satan himself. Others claimed him to be invincible to steal weapons. A few even claimed that he used his magic power to defeat a giant called Count O'Kielder by drowning him in a river. It is worth noting that much Scottish lore describes fantastic creatures which are immune to steel and thus must be destroyed in other ways. Finally, stories spread that he kept a pet goblin called Robin Redcap. In Scottish lore, redcaps have long teeth, talons like eagles, and matted hair streaming down to the shoulders. They wear iron boots and a red cap which must be dyed with human blood regularly. If the redness ever disappears completely, the creature will die. In time, the locals came to so fear William II that they begged Robert the Bruce to act. Indeed, Robert the Bruce had his own reasons to hate and fear the infamous border lord. William II had once been loyal to England and even had a knighthood bestowed upon him by Edward II of England in 1312. He only changed sides in 1314 after Robert the Bruce crushed Edward II at the Battle of Bannockburn, thus making it look like Edward would lose, and William II did not want to be on the loser's side. William II went on to become Lord of Liddesdale and Butler of Scotland. Some of the Bruce's allies in the region began nibbling away at William's estates to enrich themselves, much to William's anger. When William II de Sole began gathering conspirators around him for the purpose of removing Robert the Bruce from the throne, his real or imagined misdeeds finally caught up with him. Robert the Bruce sent a messenger to warn William to mend his ways, but the man never left the castle. Rumors spread that William II walled up the hapless Harold alive, together with his horse, in one of the Hermitage's many dungeons. This blatant defiance of royal power prompted the Bruce to declare, "Boil him if you please, but let me hear no more of him." In 1320, the king's men accused William II of involvement in a conspiracy to murder King Robert. They arrested him along with 10 other co-conspirators, most of them impoverished nobles who had many connections and famous names, but little land or wealth. The Bruce commuted William's death sentence to life in prison, but William II de Sole soon died of an unknown and mysterious illness while at Dumbarton Castle. Could he have died of natural causes, or did Robert the Bruce discreetly eliminate him? We will never know for certain. After William's death, Robert the Bruce ordered 5 of William's co-conspirators dragged behind horses, hung, and beheaded. William became the last of the de Sole family to hold the title Lord of Liddesdale. It later went to Sir Robert Bruce, the illegitimate son of Robert the Bruce. However, another story soon emerged that the peasants took matters into their own hands. According to legend, the peasants dug up the grave of Michael Scott, supposedly the man who tutored William II in the dark arts. In his grave, they found a book which told that a warlock like William II de Sole could only be killed by being boiled alive in molten lead. A mob captured William II, wrapped him in magic chains, and dragged him to an ancient megalithic stone circle called Nine Stains Rig, where they duly boiled him alive in a giant cauldron of molten lead. Could there have been anything to the fantastic tales of William II de Sole? Might Robert the Bruce have just used these rumors to help him destroy a dangerous rival, or did these rumors have some basis in dark fact? In the end, there isn't enough factual information to know for certain, and one can believe whatever one is inclined to believe. That wraps things up for this episode of The Legendarium. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, press like. If you want to see more, press subscribe. And if you've got anything to say, let me know in the comments section. Thanks again for joining me, and I hope that you have a great rest of the day.